Welcome to Eminence Unfiltered Podcast 19. Today we have a guest with us from Arco Lab, and we are talking a lot about CSA, CSV, and a lot of discussions about that CSA is CSV, CSV is CSA, and with all of those discussions, let's do this. Let's talk to a specialist and know that better. We have Mr. Munish Kumar Sharma from Arco Lab, and he will shed more light on what is the right thing to do. But before that, as usual, we'll talk more about his journey and leadership and teach you more that how you can be a right leader in the pharma industry. All right, how are you doing today,
Oh,
Manish?
thank you very much, Guneet, and I'm honored, flattered with the hospitality, patience with a person like me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for making time because I know that you had a couple of other work also lined
Yeah,
up during this time,
that's right.
but you still made time for this
No, no,
particular
it's a
talk.
pleasure. Now I think we are at a stage of life where I need to give back to the society, the people who made me. I need to give time, myself, energy, whatever I can give.
It is always the most amazing thing for
I,
any learned person like you to do, because I think that means industry is pharma industry is somehow very lucky because people with knowledge are very willing to share their knowledge with others, and that is what makes a very major difference. Most of the times in some industry we see that means people want to keep the knowledge within themselves, to themselves, rather than spreading. But pharma, what is it about pharma that makes the leaders wow? I want to know.
it is satisfying to share knowledge. See, pharma is a industry which is very close to life, close to people.
Yes.
It brings technology, people, lives, repairs of life so close. The people on the shop floor who are manufacturing, they know the value they are adding to humanity.
Correct.
Rubber industry, textile industry, aerospace industry. Okay, they are good, profitable industry, but the distance to life and humanity is least in pharma. So I don't say that I was very enthralled to join pharma. I have an IT background. It was by chance that I got into pharma, but then I took pride when I saw what I'm doing. My life started at a pharmaceutical manufacturing unit in Ponta Sahib of Ranbaxy. It was a small area in North India. The plant was coming up, it was being set up. So I saw the manufacturing unit coming up from the brick level. I set up IT with wire to wire. That experience has made a man out of a boy. And I feel so happy to share my journey with people. This is now on 30 years, I've spent a lifetime in pharma, IT, validations. I think there's a lot to share to groom people down the line. And youngsters today are no less talented. No, very good. I see youngsters I see from varying segments of life, varying segments of education. They are crossing IITs. They are doing IIM. So brilliant they are. And it's lovely to share knowledge, how they grasp knowledge and how they grow. They outgrow us. I don't want to challenge them all the time.
Right.
I need to respect. Over a time of life, Puneet, I have submitted to the fact that let's listen to others.
That is very important.
Let's stop our aggression. I was very aggressive earlier in life. Now I think over the past few years and decades, I've really learned to listen to people more and more.
That actually makes a lot of difference. I guess means your team also opens up. They prefer to share more. Otherwise, most of the times they just want to shut themselves in a box and not tell you anything
Yeah,
in
yeah,
case we don't listen. So that adds a lot of
it does.
value.
It does.
So I would say this is also one of the secrets to be a good leader.
You're right. You're right. You have to give space to people. You cannot be overpowering and slapping on your ideas onto them. No. You have to entertain ideas. They are good people. They
Right.
are doing their hands on.
Right.
They give you more ideas to run a strategy than PwCs and EYs of the world.
Right.
Let me tell you one thing.
That's very beautifully said. Uh, Somehow, more I talk to people during the podcast, off the camera, I just realized one thing that Renbaxi has given very, very good leaders to the pharma industry somehow. Every great personality that I know, they're all somehow either have worked there or started their career there. Means let's talk about Dr. Sanjeev Singh Lamba, Uday Kumar Khibe, Dr. VG Nayak, Vipul Bhai from Zyrus. Means all good leaders, and Ranjit Barshikar means, all good people, somehow they are in the end of the day coming out of the industry, like from Ranbaxy. What's the secret? How was your experience working there?
Spent 20 years with Ranbaxy Labs,
Wow.
12 years in manufacturing unit, and 8 years at the corporate office in Gurgaon,
Right.
all through in IT. And the last 6 7 years were actively into IT and validations both. Ranbaxy in its time was ahead of pharma industry. Uh, it is unbelievable even today that Ranbaxy could go down that way.
Right.
I'll repeat my word that Ranbaxy made the man out of me.
Wow.
Okay, the maturity in people, the maturity in thought process, maturity in procedures, maturity in digitization. I saw in Ranbaxy. I don't think I've seen it elsewhere.
Wow. Wow. Very beautifully put.
There are two things. One is horizontal integration of the industry. Other is vertical integration.
Right.
Okay. In vertical integration, the industry embraces its and shields its own procedures and grows.
Correct.
In horizontal integration, we acquire, merge industries to grow. And Maxi did both. It's rare and actively, aggressively.
Right.
It was aggressive with people, aggressive with procedures. That aggression has been the hallmark of us people.
Right.
Finesse, handling people, handling procedures. That is the hallmark of Renvaxians.
Like a well-rounded leader is something that is coming out of Ranbaxy because of the kind of work management they had and trainings, and people management, people skill. That's beautiful.
We were beaten into men, to be honest. Yeah, and we beat people into becoming men. We never were kindergarten. From day one, we were not kindergarten kids. We were not trainees. No, no. From day one, get on the job, boss. And that has gone into my blood.
Okay,
That's
makes
how I
sense.
groom my boys down the line.
All right,
Yeah.
but then in that case, it's a good start for them.
They appreciate. Let me be honest. Some of them really appreciate.
Right.
None of them has complained. If they have not appreciated at point, but they have not complained.
Okay. All right. Okay, so tell me more about yourself. So now everyone who listen to the podcast, they want to know the leaders more. Means they know you as a leader, they know what you do, they know your journey with CSV, CSA. What they want to know about leaders is who you are really behind the whole facade. In your personal hobbies, who you are as a person, what you do in your idle time.
I'm a very much a human being. I have my moments of happiness, anxieties, fear, threats. I have a small dark side. I'm a father of two daughters who keep me young. Having traversed 30 years in life now in profession, uh, of late, as I just mentioned back, I've learned to accept the fact that now you are on the downhill. So I've slowed down on myself a bit. That doesn't mean that the speed of life has slowed down, but I've slowed down my aggression. I've learned to accept things and people quietly. I've become more silent, more patient with people, and I want to give now. If you want to ask me, a human under the leadership, Gunit was not awarded to me. Uh, to be very honest, over the years, over the circumstances, I earned that,
Right.
and I'll not mince any words. I worked hard. Life will never be same. It is all sinusoidal wave. It has crests and troughs. Same with me, ups and downs. You take Ambani, you take Anil Ambani, for example, the life is up and down. So in my low periods, I've learned lessons. In my high periods, I've learned to be grounded. My wife has stood by me. She kept me grounded. Let me honest. And I belong to a very orthodox family. My parents are humble. My father is a government servant. I mean, he retired now, so
Right.
he was a government servant, one man earning bread and butter. So that's given me a lot of humility in life, to be grounded during success and to be humble in lows. I'm a very normal human being, and leadership has been circumstantial. Not that I, from day one, I was a very senior person. I got into managerial position, senior managerial position. It has taken time, but every phase in life has matured me more, like everybody does. But I've accepted my failures, and at this stage, I feel I'm way more mature than I started my life. Way more mature. Even my thought process, I believe that uh, uh, my children, my daughters both, uh, I should accept that they know more than me in areas. My elder daughter is doing her PhD from IIT Delhi.
Okay.
In earlier 2 years, now it's 5 years. Now, in earlier 2 years, my fatherhood, my gender, would drive my ego. But I know more than you. Even though you're doing a PhD, but I know more than you. I can write a document better than you. But perhaps sometime down the line, end of 2 years, I gave her a report. She read the report. Papa, this document you've given me is actually useless. Then I stopped. And I knew. I knew I have done my job, and I'm no
Yes,
more
it's
any. She knows more than me. So slowly, gradually, I have come to a realization that these children need to be respected.
right.
A wife, even though she's a homemaker, but she knows more than me. She's controlled me. She's grounded me. A lot of ways.
Tell me something. Is it right to assume that you're a very spiritual person?
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes, I
It's
am.
very evident from your talk. So this is why I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm a God-fearing man. Not that I am frightful of God, but my spirituality does stop me from doing anything which is not correct. I know what is right, what is wrong. I
Right.
shouldn't go in that direction at all.
Right. Makes sense.
You read me right.
Right, because I was listening to your words and I was trying to relate, and then yes, it comes across very clearly that you're a very spiritual
It
person.
helps.
It does help, right? In the end of the day, it means the whole insanity running you sometimes and losing your own mind at the time is, I think, spirituality somewhere down the line keeps you grounded.
It helps. That's
Makes
what I said.
sense.
Yeah. Makes you more mature and human, humble.
All right. What are your hobbies in general?
Hobbies have changed with life, with the years. Guneet. If I tell you, earlier years, it was stamp collection,
Okay,
coin, coin,
I still do.
coin collection. But then it went into cricket, badminton, horse riding, and basketball. Of late, reading is my passion. Although I'll be open in saying that any kind of media I read, but I'm very fond and respectful of newspapers.
Okay.
Holistic. I love spending time with the newspapers, undisturbed with advertisements and all. I know what I'm reading. It is undisturbed, complete, and how much ever time I want to read the. It gives me language. It gives me peace, information, knowledge, everything.
Right.
So that's what I picked up of late. And listening to people is something I really like. People who command language, who know how to speak, good orators. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, people like them. I love to listen to people capture language, capture their oration. That has
The
brought up
sense of
the
togetherness in their talk sometimes clicks you.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
Who are artificial and superficial in their talks. I know. So, and within minutes, I know who's a good speaker. I don't know how many interviews I've taken in lifetime. I forgot the number, and it takes me just perhaps first 120 seconds to know who is right. It doesn't take more than that. Who's making up and who's trying to make a fool of me.
And that's experience.
That's it. It doesn't take.
Speaking of that, anything that you would like to say about the interviews as well? Because since you brought that up, I guess this is one very big challenge that, forget pharma, every industry faces. That means the hiring procedure, how to understand what to do, what not to do, how do you gauge people, judge people. Is there any sort of advice that you have for the people who are looking for good hires?
Uh, I have changed the way I interview people now
Okay.
over the last 2 3 years, not more than 5 years. Rather than I ask them that I question them, I sit silent.
Okay.
You tell me. You ask me questions. Don't tell me about yourself. You tell me what is that curiosity, anxiety, eagerness which with which you are sitting in this room, and
Right.
what you want to hear from me. You ask that question.
Correct.
Even if it is you want to ask me, sir, how much will you pay me as a first question? I want to listen to that.
Right.
Those first two, three questions tell you the depth of the person. What is his mental direction?
Right.
It doesn't waste time at all. Rather than I getting under the layers of the person after question, those three questions I know where he's standing. What is his
Right.
thought process? I give him the liberty. Ask more questions. Then I tell him, boss, are you done now? Okay. I have two, three more questions. Okay. Then a little bit of technical questions. Although now of late, technical questions I've left to my directors, so that they ask questions. Otherwise, it takes me 5-10 minutes after the initial interviews. So that's how I gauge people
So
now.
you want to know the people more than knowing the technical part.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is the other
I can teach
departments.
technology to people.
Yeah, skills can be taught.
Okay, I can
Yeah,
groom people. I can
right.
put training sessions, but the person inside
How
cannot
you
be
are,
changed.
that can be changed.
Okay,
Lovely thing.
you cannot change it. And moreover, these people are. If I set a machine, if I implement IT system, it will continue the way I want. But the dynamics of people change every day.
Correct.
That's what I want to control now. Anticipate. Be preemptive, not reactive. Be proactive with people.
Right.
The speed at which a person is walking into my office, I know what is thinking. The time at which he will send an email, I know what is there in the email. I don't understand. So that comes with experience and handling people.
Absolutely.
I love to have a keen insight into people, what people are thinking.
It's apart from reading newspaper, another hobby is reading people.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. I love to have eye contact and understand what he's thinking, what is going on in his mind.
So tell me something, Manish. Are you in pharma from the beginning, or you worked in any non-pharma companies as well as an IT
No, no.
expert?
I spent a small while in a company called NIIT Limited.
Okay.
It was founded by two IITians, Rajendra Prasad and Shiv Nadar.
Okay.
So I worked as a programmer there in Sybase and Power Builder, and I was a part of first 10 people who were programming on that platform. Then I got a break into Rembaxi. They wanted people on the same platform,
Right.
and immediately they shunted me to Ponta Sahib. I'm in Delhi basically, born and brought up in Delhi. They sent me to Ponta Sahib, and then I started. So Rembaxi to me was less pharma, more IT. Let me be honest. What was happening on the shop floor in QC was only a part of my life, a small fraction. But the amount of digitization and automation that was happening in
Was
Ranbaxy in
advanced.
1995 starting, unparalleled. That made me an IT guy.
Wow. Okay. So this is how you started venturing, thinking towards pharma instead of any other. See, this is normally my question to everybody. That means, were you always thinking that you're going to be in pharma? So you were not thinking
No,
that.
no, no.
But now I know how you got really fond of pharma. That means the safety, efficacy part came in later, but the whole love for the IT was being nurtured by Ranbaxy
Yeah.
at that
I'm
time.
wired as a technocrat. I like technical discussions,
Right.
and I love to speak on technical aspects. When I had done 20 years almost in IT, I knew that I'd done pharma IT. There's little more to do in IT now, whether it is in on shop floor or production or quality control or enterprise application. Then I was given a break in strides for validations.
Right.
Because I knew IT, I could do well in validations. I knew what is happening in IT system.
Right.
Working from a non-IT background into validations,
Gets
it's not very successful option. But IT plus validations, I've seen this successful combination.
works well. Right. Because technological part is already getting covered,
Yeah.
and you already have people management. So there are multiple factors that played a very important role
Yes.
in your validations job as well.
Yes. Yes.
And apart from your habit of reading more, updating yourself, sharing more, somehow when we share, we kind of increase the knowledge for ourselves as well by
We
learning
learn.
from someone,
We learn. Yes.
right? And then your love for IT. What else do you think, apart from these four factors, played an important role in your validations game?
Are you asking from professional perspective or personal perspective?
Personal, professional, doesn't matter. Means, because in the end of the day, most of the times when people want to learn something, they only and only want to talk about, okay, so what is your diploma, what is your certificate, what all Google certificates you have acquired all of a sudden. LinkedIn certificates is a new thing that has started. So I have a feeling somehow we are more about the certificates than a person. But I really like your approach, which is very refreshing. uh, Knowing a person more. So I want to know you more, that what helped you maintain your validation game at par with you being personally in a certain way. So I know people skill, I know technology, the love for IT, and I know as a matter of fact that means you love to share as well. So what else played an important role in your validations game as a person?
Once a IT system is implemented, the absorption of IT system facilitates the drug to the market. This is the only reason why we are going digital.
Right.
Pharmaceuticals are absorbing and consuming IT. There's no other reason. They can very well sit on paper.
Right.
Okay, their business is not IT. It is drugs, capsules, tablets, syrups, whatever injectable. And regulatory agencies also are looking only at the manufacturing part. They are hardly interested in IT. You give them paper, okay, fine, that's fine. But what am I adding as a value in IT that I facilitate the speed to the market? And an implementation of IT should be perfect.
Right.
If I implement IT system, it goes into defect within 90 days, 120 days, then there's no fun in implementing IT system. Having been in IT so long, I knew that there are defects the way we implement IT system, the way we go about doing change controls or kappas. So after having done two decades, I know that if I can add quality by being a part of quality.
Correct.
A CSV person or a quality person is basically a doctor for IT systems. He knows the symptoms, he corrects them, he finds defects, and asks IT to repair them. So, because I had knowledge in IT and I spent time in pharma, I know how important the digitization has become now for pharma, for the company I'm working for, my employers. So, that drove me into validations. Okay, let's now start zero defect IT systems, zero failure IT systems, high tolerance systems. So that grew as and one more aspect to my personality is perfection. I like to finish the job with perfection, completeness. It keeps me disturbed. It robs sleep of me if I'm not doing a right job.
Oh my god, we're alike in this.
In in personal life, or recently I applied for my passport renewal. So I wanted to see every single document in the file in right order, right signature, everything. And it took me 20, 48 hours. Some Saturday morning, Sunday. My wife was shouting, "What the hell are you doing? You give 500 rupees to an agent, he'll buy." But I managed. So unless my documents are in order, and that's what validation asks. You write what you do, and you do what you write. Anything other than this is deviation. That's my driving factor in validation.
It's very detailed as well. And see, a very long time back, I had a conversation with Dr. Akibe, and he told me something which is set in my heart somewhere. And he said that, Guneet, it's quality is not a department; it's a lifestyle. Because you need to have that eye for perfection, the keenness and observation, the detail. Means, when you say that SOP writing is very tough and SOP writing is difficult or things like that, but in the end of the day, means there is a certain footer, there are certain notes which are required. You need to know that when you're writing one, other person who's going to read it, that person is not you, it's going to be somebody else. That person should be able to understand it, so it's a lifestyle. And then I was like, I know what you mean. Now I understand that people with OCD can definitely be very good quality people because they want everything organized, managed, well documented. You won't believe, my husband and I, we bought a house couple of years back. So finally, the time has come that we moved to that house. So we were packing boxes. So we don't only have the boxes packed and marked as box one, box two, box three, but we have all the things which are packed in each box. It's written in a proper digital form that what is in which box.
Correct.
So once we move there, if we have to open the boxes priority wise, I already know which smallest part is in which big box, and inside that box there is a smaller box that contains a smaller box, and it's in there. I know that much as well. So I am that organized, and my husband calls me crazy for that. But
Yeah, I'll pick this word validation again. Validation is not about in pharma industry.
right,
When my wife calls me to buy a kg of apple,
right,
I pick up each apple and see it's fine or not. That's validation.
it's validation.
When I get up from the
Absolutely.
aircraft seat, I look back, have I not left? That's validation.
Absolutely. I bet you have never left anything in the hotel. Me neither. Oh wow. Means you're
uh,
my new best friend.
Matrimony, no, no, we are looking for alliance. Parents, boy, they're a CFD. Who are looking at the girl and they are looking at the boy. What is he doing? What are the habits? Put a spy on them. That's validation. Validation is every aspect. When you
Right.
go to buy a shoe, your size is correct, fitting on. That's validation.
You try to walk.
It's
Yes.
validation in every single aspect in the morning.
Right. Right.
So validation in computer, although we call it validation, but every aspect of life is validation. You cannot live without validations.
Right.
You
Right.
like it or not.
I totally agree. Last year, somebody asked Ken at the conference for CSA, say like, why validation is so important. What is the significance? I'm not sure. That means somebody from pharma can ask this question. So Ken just asked him this: that if there is an airplane which is not validated, will you be the first one to sit in it?
Hmm.
And end of the story. It's the same thing in the end of the day for pharma and the other industry as well, specifically the medicine. It's going in your body. So everything that you do means there are validation of processes, validation of software. It is obviously
Cleaning
required in
validation,
life.
process validation. What you tell me? What else
Absolutely.
is there? Validation is around, and
Correct.
because it is a part of inherent part of pharma industry, hence it is called validation. Otherwise, it's a part of life.
Right.
You cannot live without that.
Very beautifully put across. Very beautifully put across. So Manish, like I said, that we do this podcast not only for the pharmaceutical people, we do this for the students as well. There are a lot of subscribers because at every conference we normally have a habit of giving 5 seats to the students, and it's complimentary. We do not charge them, and to the professors, but majorly prefer to give it to the students so that they can learn like practical examples as well. We had a few students for DOE conference, and I'm telling you, they participated more in the workshop and they solved it, and it was amazing. Igor was leading that session. So for those kids, I've seen them usually, in spite of being very competitive and knowledgeable, they are really frightful when it comes to working with the pharma industry. But a lot of people choose pharma industry only. Any advice for you have for those students who are really frightful to start their career?
These children who are in their graduations and post graduations before entering pharma industry, pharma is not a tough industry. We are making it to look like a tough industry. And whosoever is aspiring to a pharma leader, he needs to dirty his hands first. Unless you dirty your hands, you cannot become a manager and you cannot grow in pharma. You'll make mistakes. And a cost of a mistake is called a deviation in pharma industry.
Yeah.
There's a cost attached to deviation. You need to investigate, you need to correct it. All I can put a figure to that.
Apply kappa.
So the kappa follows, it is followed by change control. So if they do not read their books well, and if they do not dirty their hands, they'll not learn. Imperfection will stay in their procedures, in their lives, and it will have ramification, it will have consequential effects on the ecosystem in which they are working.
Right.
Personal also. And personal and professional lives are not different.
It is.
People can say they are different. I switch off office when it does not switch off. It remains. A part of personal life comes to office, and a part of office comes to home. In order for them to be sorted properly, read, groom, be a good professional, a well-rounded, clean professional, ethical,
Right.
ethical.
Clean and ethical is most important part, I believe.
There's nothing that will stop you to grow. So these students, they should learn the lessons well. Whatever degree they are doing, they should spend time properly in them, be cream of that, and apply that knowledge. Do not keep it in that this thing and gain experience. Your knowledge should always come and know like piston. It should keep coming back to you. I learned that, applied here, learned that, applied here, learned that. It'll live with you for life. Knowledge.
Right.
But over a period of 10, 20 years, experience takes over knowledge and certificates, as you mentioned.
Does matter. Yes.
Your ecosystem grooms you.
Right.
It takes over times. Degrees 4 years, ecosystem is lifelong.
Right.
It does groom you. But if your fundamentals are strong with their degrees and studying and the initial years of hard work, life is sorted. Nobody can challenge you.
So they should strengthen their knowledge, but at the same time, they need to make sure that they dive in without any fear. I'm so glad that you could make time to, for this podcast and for the event as well. That means, spoke about the future of CSA, and then we spoke about the future of the pharma industry, and then you took several questions from the audience as well. And this interview is really an amazing, striking conversation, because these are the talks that even I really like. Means it's not only our audience. Eh, in the end of the day, there's a lot to learn in what you said, even for us as event organizers as well. Um, Thank you very much that you made time and shared all this knowledge. And I think I would like to talk to you more sometime when I need guidance and take you as my mentor. That was really a beautiful and amazing talk.
I'm honored, and I want to repeat that the hospitality and the patience with me your team has shown. I'm deeply impressed with it.
Thank you.
You've chosen me for this interview is an honor,
Thank you.
and I'll take this experience back to my office and tell them how good the company eminence is.
Thank you very much. Really matters a lot.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
I'm honored. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So today, this was Mr. Munish Kumar Sharma with us. What did you like about the podcast? And if you want me to ask him more question, I will certainly get back to you. You can mention in the comments below. We will see you in the next week. Thank you.